course I love Zaddy Zayden because there are 3 special editions coming out. Like, girl, please, just release one. To the world, they were a scandal. To each other, an obsession. Guys, this book is just not hitting. If you think memoirs are boring, you're reading the wrong memoirs. I'm getting 5-star vibes already. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Maddie, and in today's reading vlog, I am going to be reading a few of my anticipated new releases. I just filmed my 2025 TBR video, and about 15 of those books in that video are books coming out this year. And while I was filming that video, I realized a few of those books are coming out in January. And something I need to work on in 2025 is reading new releases when they come out. Every single time I wait to read a new release and watch reading vlogs about it or listen to people talk about the book on booktok or look up Goodreads reviews, it is so damaging to me because then I'm swayed by other people's opinions because I'm a follower, and then I put off reading the book. But I'm not doing that in 2025. I'm reading new releases when they come out so that way I can be the person that determines if you're gonna read the book or not. I'd rather be the influencer, okay? I'm kidding. Do not pay attention to any reviews. If I've learned anything in the last few years of my reading journey, it's that you can enjoy book content and consume other people's book recommendation videos, but don't take them too seriously because reading is subjective. And I found so many 4 or 5-star reads last year that I put off because of other people's reviews. But guess what, babes? We're all different. We're all gonna have different opinions on books. It's up to you to decide your final thoughts about a book. This was not supposed to be a rant. This was just supposed to be the intro to this vlog, but here I am. Right now, it is January 11th. The real reason I'm filming this video is because we have 10 days until the next book in the Empyrean series comes out, and that is Onyx Storm. But until then, I have a few books that I want to read for this video, and they are a few different genres, so definitely stick around. It's not just going to be romance or fantasy. The first book I'm going to be reading for this video is a book I got today, and that is The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I know nothing about this book. I know I said don't listen to other people's opinions of the book, but the reason I picked this book up is I saw a few creators got an arc of this book, and they didn't say much about it, but they were just saying they loved it and that we need to read this book when it comes out. I did read the summary on the back, but other than that, I have no expectations. Let me read you the description. Katerina Shaw has always known she's destined to become an Olympic skater. When she meets Heath Rocha, a lonely kid stuck in the foster care system, their instant connection makes them a formidable duo on the ice. Clinging to skating and each other to escape their turbulent lives, Kat and Heath go from childhood sweethearts to champion ice dancers, captivating fans with their scorching chemistry, rebellious style, and roller coaster relationship. Until, at the Olympic Games, as the world holds its breath, a shocking incident instantly destroys their partnership. 10 years later, an unauthorized tell-all documentary reignites the public obsession with Shaw and Rocha. If Kat wants to own her story, she must break her silence. As Kat's account of her dramatic rise and fall alternates with scandalous interviews from the film, The Favorites spins into a dance between passion, ambition, and what it truly means to win. Also, I looked up how to pronounce Heath's last name. That's how they said to pronounce it. I even saw the author say it that way. Hopefully I'm saying that right. To the world, they were a scandal. To each other, an obsession. Let's get into the video. Wait guys, I wasn't going to update you until I was further into this book, but I'm already obsessed. On the cover, Jodi Picoult has a blurb and it says part Wuthering Heights and part Daisy Jones and the Six, which is an interesting description, or like those are 2 very different books. But as I started reading it, I'm only 30 pages into it again, that makes sense because it's set up like Daisy Jones and the Six. There are interviews every chapter, just quick ones. That's why it's like Daisy Jones and the Six, I guess. But right away, I'm getting childhood friends to lovers. I'm getting something crazy happened and now it's second chance romance, then and now timelines. I'm already obsessed. Like, I'm feeling emotional already. I'm getting 5-star vibes already, which is crazy because I've never read anything from this author. I had one more thought. Crap. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Right away, I really like Kat as a female main character. I've been reading a lot of books lately where the female main character has just been unorganized and going through life not knowing what they're going to do next, which is fine because that's literally me right now. But I like female main characters to almost be uptight. I don't know why, okay? Don't come for me, I don't know why. But I love Nora from Book Lovers and I like Kat right now. Also, do they even call her Kat? Her name's Katarina. Not me giving her a nickname already, like we're besties. But right away, she's helping Heath because he comes from like a broken family and he doesn't have a place to stay. And then also there's this part in the book where she's talking about how I don't want to be an ice skater like all the other girls because they get to wear makeup and sequin dresses. I want to be an ice skater because I want to know what it's like to win. And I love that energy. So she's talking about one of her idols that's an ice skater that she looks up to. A smirk played across her lips, which were painted the same ruby hue as the jewels shining in her black hair. Even as a kid with no knowledge of the sport, I was sure she would win. Sheila looked like she'd already won, like she had the gold medal around her neck and her blade firmly planted on the still twitching corpse of her competition. I didn't become a skater because I harbored some childish fantasy of wearing sequins and spinning around like a pretty little top. I became a skater because I wanted to feel like that. Fierce, confident, a warrior goddess covered in glitter. So sure of myself, I could make my dreams come true through sheer force of will. Okay, I need to read. Literally, Maddie, calm down. Calm down. You're 30 pages into this book. It's going to break my heart. I feel like, Guys, I'm now on page 270 and I'm still obsessed with this book. I want to finish it tonight. I don't think that's realistic, but I think I can wake up early and finish it tomorrow morning. I took some notes on what I wanted to say. First of all, I love the short chapters and almost every chapter kind of ends in a cliffhanger, so you want to keep reading. And since the chapters are so short, you don't realize how fast you're flying through this book. I looked up the genre online because the few people that I've seen have been marketing this as a romance, and it is. There's definitely romance, but I think it's more of a literary fiction. I don't know the ending, so by the end of this, I could think it's more romance. Like, there are little bits and pieces of romance in here, like some really beautiful quotes, but it's not as much as I would have thought. However, since I went into this expecting nothing, that doesn't bother me. I like literary fiction a lot, actually. It's funny that I am enjoying this because I said it was kind of like Daisy Jones and the Six, and I did not like Daisy Jones and the Six. And that is because it was marketed as a romance, or it wasn't marketed that way, but all of the book talkers I saw talk about Daisy Jones and the Six said it was a romance. And me personally, I did not think it was a romance because I'm used to reading romance, not literary fiction with a subplot of romance. So that's kind of why I didn't like Daisy Jones and the Six, because I don't know, I had different expectations set and it was so hyped up that of course I was going to be let down a little bit. But I think what's different is that with this book, even though it is set up kind of the same way with interviews and stuff, I had no expectations going into it. And that's why you should read new releases right away, because then nobody can sway your opinion. Oh yeah, it said it was a sports romance too, which it is about a sport, but to say this is a sports romance, it should be illegal. This is so much more than a sports romance. I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind by the end of the book. And I can just really picture this book. It's playing like a documentary in my mind. And that's exactly what the author wanted to do. So congrats, you succeeded. Goodbye. I will update you guys later. This book is real. This is based on a true story, if you ask me. The characters are so real. Goodbye. I finished the book. If you couldn't tell, it's 5 stars. I was crying at the end of the book, not because the ending was sad, but because I was sad that I was finishing this book. I'm sad that my journey is over. I will never get to read this book for the first time again. And guys, I feel a little bit crazy because this is my 3rd 5-star read of the year already. Am I really just into reading right now, or am I just picking up amazing books because I'm actually mood reading for once? Who knows? I do think this book is amazing. I don't think it's me. I think Lane Fargo knows how to tell a story. Like, wow. Not many books have me invested from the start. Like, even some of my favorite books of all time have taken me a little bit to get into. But with this book, I literally showed you a clip 30 pages into me reading this, saying this is going to be a 5-star read just because I like the writing, I like the story. If you guys want something fast-paced, I think this is fast-paced. I think the characters are incredible. There's character development, there is romance, there's drama, there's politics in the figure skating world. There are social issues in here. Like, this book has everything. It is so well-rounded, and it is so much more than just a sports romance. I would say this is literary fiction. I don't know, y'all. This is a story. I should stop talking now, but you know what? This is my video. This is my video. So I have a few final thoughts, and then I need to start reading another book. Oh, also, there is no spice in here. So if you want to recommend this to your mom, your grandma, I don't know, anybody that doesn't like spice, go for it. Because there's nothing like inappropriate in this book. The romance is more of like a subplot. And I honestly think I'm right too, because if you read the story, the main character, Kat, in one of the interviews, she was being interviewed about something in her life that you'll learn later on, and blah blah blah, and like asking about girly things. And so she flat out looked at the reporter and said, "I'm an Olympic athlete. Why are you asking me these questions? Ask me how I think I'm going to skate. Ask me about my competition. Like, make this about me." And so if Kat was a real person, she would not want this to be marketed as a sports romance. But the romance that was in there was one for the ages. Literally, that song right now that's trending on TikTok with all the edits, well, TikTok may be banned by the time you guys are watching this. A song where it's like, crawling back to you. Oh, did I just kind of harmonize there? No, not at all, Maddie. But that is Kat and Heath. 1,000,000%. There's even a quote in here. I'll read it, but skip to this part if you don't want to hear it. This quote is exactly that song. I've done a lot of things I'm not proud of, Katarina, to get back to you. My only other thought is that I want to listen to the audiobook of this because there's a full cast. They're gonna have the interviews set up just like in Daisy Jones and the Six, and it's going to be such a good audiobook as well. I loved reading this, but if you want to listen to the audiobook, I bet you it's just as amazing. I feel like I've jumped all over the place. None of this is making sense. We're going back and forth, but whatever. That just shows you how stunned I am by this book. I love it. I recommend it. Probably going to be one of my favorites of the year already. So let me think about the next new release I'm going to read for this video, and I will update you guys then. Hey guys, I did end up picking another book for this video, and that is Sherry Frankie's memoir called The House of My Mother. It came out the first week of 2025, and I knew I wanted to read it right away because I need to know more about this situation. If you're not familiar with the Frankie family, the mom, Ruby, was this family vlogger, and what always seemed super crazy, like in videos, or like, oh, the super strict mom. I never watched their channel. It was called The 8 Passengers because it was a family of 8. Once TikTok became a thing, I always saw snippets and clips of the mom like being crazy and people analyzing the mom's behavior. So I always thought the mom was just like a little bit off and kind of brutal. Come to find out, there was so much more to this story because Ruby was arrested a year ago and is now in prison for child abuse. So Sherry is the eldest daughter, and it's good to finally hear her side of the story because it is so much darker than it ever seemed online. And by that, I mean I'm happy for Sherry Frankie the oldest daughter, who finally gets to tell her story, because in her novel you can tell from a young age that she knew something was off and that her mom was just more than a strict mom, that her mom was abusive, but she couldn't do anything about it because she was isolated from friends. Her mom made her transfer schools. She couldn't do any sports or activities, so she literally had no one to turn to, and she was just waiting for someone to realize that her mom is abusive. And I'm so happy that her siblings, I know she talks a lot about Chad in the book, she doesn't talk about her younger siblings because she wants them to have a personal life since her mom forced everybody to vlog everything growing up. I'm glad that her siblings are away from the mother and that the mother is in jail. Guys, I finished The House of My Mother last night and I loved it. And I'm about to go into a spiel right now, so just prepare yourselves. I never rated memoirs or nonfiction before. Not like publicly, even though I literally have no followers, but I just felt like it was wrong to rate memoirs because it's that person's life experience, and even if I don't like their story, that's what happened, that's their truth. But now that I've read 2 amazing memoirs where the authors are genuinely such good writers, such good storytellers, have been through so much and have still turned out to be an amazing person, I am now rating memoirs. I've had 2 5-star memoirs that I've read this year, and I think I was just reading the wrong type of nonfiction. This may be obvious. It wasn't to me because I've been influenced to read popular books the past few years because of BookTube, BookTok, and whatnot, without actually thinking if I would enjoy the book. But only pick up nonfiction books that you're interested in. Last year, I read this one memoir by someone I knew nothing about. I mean, nothing. But I picked it up because it's a bestseller. It was on all these Goodreads lists, and I did not like it at all. And I didn't want to give it a bad rating on Goodreads because I thought that wasn't fair, but it was because I didn't care about who this person was. I'm sorry, as harsh as that sounds. Only pick up books by musicians, actresses, or people you care about reading their life story. Like, reading is supposed to be entertaining to you. Do not pick up a book just because it's popular. Read the summary and decide for yourself if you're interested in it. With all that being said, like, I am gonna rate memoirs now because I'm only picking up ones that I'm interested in. And when that happens, I know it's going to be a good rating. It's gonna be 5 stars. So I love nonfiction now. Like, wow. If you think memoirs are boring, you're reading the wrong memoirs. Pick up one that's interesting to you, not just one that everybody else is reading. I took some notes about the book. Sherry is so smart, and I want nothing but the best for her because I am so mad at her mom, her community, her church, the system for failing her and her siblings. I was fuming last night when I finished reading this book. I couldn't fall asleep because I was scrolling on her Instagram. I was watching interviews of her. I just wanted to make sure that she was okay. And despite the abuse and living with a narcissist for her entire life, she is an amazing person. She knew right from the wrong from the beginning. She just didn't know how to get around it because she was a rule follower and listened to authority, and you know, her mom was an elder, so she listened to her mom, her parents, her bishop, whatnot. And this book goes to show you that you never know what's going on in somebody's life. Social media is fake and it is damaging. So you have to be careful what you consume. Like I said, I never watched this mommy vlogger channel, and I'm glad I didn't because after reading the book, I don't want to search any of their old vlogs up or anything because the whole time Sherry did not want to be a part of this. The siblings didn't want to be a part of this. And even reading her book now, like, she almost didn't want to write about her life experience because since everything was so public about her family for years, she is finally allowed to have privacy now that her mother's in jail. but she did want to get ahead of the narrative and tell her own side of the story. And she did so in such a beautiful way because she did not talk about her youngest siblings. She only talked about Chad because he wanted his story to be told a little bit as well. But I think that's amazing that she knows what she stands for and she doesn't want any more of her life to be public, really. I'm all over the place with this. I'm sorry. I think the craziest thing about this is at the end of the day, in the epilogue, she didn't forgive her mother, but she's wishing her the best. I think she said, I hope after she gets out of prison, she can have a quiet life and forget about all this. You are better than me, Sherry. You are better than me because I am not wishing your mother well. I'm not wishing her well at all. I have a few quotes I want to read. I think this is in the epilogue, so if you want to avoid spoilers, skip to this time. My focus is now turned toward the future, a blank canvas waiting to be painted. But this I know. I will break the cycle. I will trust the children, the child within me, and the children I will one day nurture. I will trust in their resilience, their wisdom, their limitless imagination, and their innate capacity for love. I will guide them, but I will also learn from them and allow their innocence and wonder to heal the wounded parts of my soul. Together, we will create a new story. I'm crying. I'm crying. It's so sad, but it's like beautiful that she's not gonna let this get her down. Still wearing this sweatshirt. Hey guys, it is a few days later. My last talking clip kind of ended abruptly because I ran out of storage on my camera. But we're back and rolling. I did start another book for this video, but first, I want to give you a little Onyx Storm update. It is not Onyx Storm. That's not the book I'm reading. It is now Saturday, January 18th, and I went out to see if the bookstores near me had any copies out early, and they still didn't, and they're standing firm with that release date. Even the bookstore that normally puts out new releases early couldn't find it anywhere, so that's okay. I don't have a problem with waiting. Like, it's not urgent for me to read it right now and read it early. I just was checking, okay? Because if it's out early, I'm gonna buy it early. I'm not better than anybody else. I will, in fact, check that book out right away. The next book I'm reading for this video is a thriller, and it's called No Place Left to Hide by Megan Lawley. I read my first book by this author last summer. It's called That's Not My Name, and I loved it. I finished it in one sitting. I gave it 5 stars. Is it really a 5-star thriller? Probably not, but it entertained me, and for some reason I decided to give it 5 stars, so I stick by that. As I'm reading this one, I'm noticing a few things about the writing that I don't love, and I think it's because it is a YA thriller. It does feel a little juvenile, and the girl's in high school, and I'm so far past high school. It's still fun. I'm still intrigued, and I definitely recommend you check out this author's thrillers. They're super fast-paced, and they are pretty short. Like, I think I can finish this book today. It says I only have 3 hours left, and I'm 30% into it. So I'll check back in with you guys when I finish the book. Bye. Guys, this book is just not hitting. I haven't even gotten to the main surprise, or one of the main surprises that will make this book more interesting, but I'm not vibing with it, which is so weird because I loved the other book. I don't even explain what this book was about, but basically it's a then and now timeline. There's this incident that the main character Brooke was involved with a few months back or something like that changed her life because someone died, and there was a whole police investigation and it was deemed an accident, but then someone's been threatening Brooke this whole time, like, I know what you did, blah, blah, blah. So there's obviously more to the story. So there's flashbacks of that night where the girl died, and then now where she's trying to move on with her life and get past this incident, but she's being stalked and harassed and being sent death threats because someone knows what actually happened that night. And then literally from 40% on, I mean, I don't know about the ending, but the setting of this book is Brooke and her friend are being chased on this highway to get back home, and they're being chased by this person that's threatening Brooke. So I feel like that's gonna get really repetitive. I don't know, we'll see how long they're driving on this highway, but it seems like it's gonna be the rest of the book because that was part of the summary. I don't know if any of my descriptions ever make sense or if they're good, but yeah, this one feels more YA to me. It doesn't seem as spooky yet. We'll see. Maybe I'm speaking too soon because I'm still only 40% into the book. Also, this main character, is it Hannah? Or no, it's Brooke. Is so unlikable. She's such a brat. Sorry. Okay, back to reading. I gotta finish this soon. This book is making me mad. Hello everyone. It is Onyx Storm Eve. This is the reason I started filming this video in the first place, and it finally comes out tomorrow. I pre-ordered it on my Kindle, but I also do want to go to the bookstore and see if I can get a sprayed edges edition. I didn't think to order one here because I didn't think it would be the exact same one in the US. And I do have the first edition with the sprayed edges and the dragons, and I have the sprayed edges for Iron Flame, so I kind of want them to match. And I think one of the bookstores will have it because I looked it up online, but if it doesn't, my friend Chloe's gonna get me a book back in the US from Target or something, or Barnes and Noble is the one I want, because there are 3 special editions coming out. Like, girl, please just release one. But before I start talking about Onyx Storm and don't shut up about it for the rest of this video, I did finish No Place Left to Hide by Megan Lawley. It disappointed me, and the main character was not it for me. And I feel a little bad saying this, so hopefully I don't harp on this too long, but those are always my famous last words, and then I talk about a book for 6 minutes. I don't want to be too negative because I think the author was insecure about this book in the first place, because when I was reading the acknowledgements, the first paragraph was like, oh, second books are so hard to write, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was so worried about this when I spent so much time, but like I ended up loving it. So I don't want to sit here and be like, girl, what the hell was that? But girl, what the hell was that? I basically told you, like, I just wasn't vibing with it. The story wasn't storying. It just felt nothing like her first book, which I gave 5 stars. And I'm not crazy because I went on the Goodreads reviews and it doesn't have a super high rating. It also doesn't have a lot of reviews, but it is way lower than her other book rating. And also, I looked at some of the lower star reviews and people were in the same boat as me. They were saying this book was so different from her first book that I gave 5 stars. And I'm so glad I'm not crazy. I will give this author another chance 100%. But this book just didn't flow for me. It felt like there were plot holes. My biggest problem with it is that it didn't really feel like a thriller. Like, the ending wasn't a big surprise. It was just leading up to it the whole time. Like, I didn't think there was going to be a plot twist. They were just telling this kind of spooky story. But since it was YA, it didn't seem that spooky to me. Does that make sense? She was telling a story, but it wasn't the most exciting story in the world. Is that fair? I don't know what I just said. I'm delusional. Go follow me on TikTok. I just posted a funny Onyx Storm TikTok about the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. If you've seen those, go follow me on Goodreads. Everything is linked down below. My Bookstagram is down below. And next time you see me, I will be reading Onyx Storm. And honestly, at this point, I feel like I overhyped it too much. I didn't even love Iron Flame that much. I'm just like feeding into the excitement because everybody else is doing the same thing. I'm kind of worried that this book's gonna let me down. We will see tomorrow. Happy Onyx Storm release day. I read the prologue and the first chapter on my Kindle, but the bookstores are opening, so it's time to get some steps in, and I'm gonna walk over there because I know I'm gonna be sitting on my butt the rest of the day. So let's get some movement in. If they don't have the special edition I want, it's okay because Sam asked me to get the next book in the series he's currently reading. So let's go! Ah! Saw your silhouette in the backlight. Swear we could have met in a past life. Dreaming every night like the last time. So I end on my... Guys, I'm back, and that was quite the adventure. So I walked there. I walked probably close to 3 miles, so at least I got my steps in for the day. And it wasn't even too cold. At one point I was sweating because I was swinging my arms. I was getting my walking on. But I got there a little early, and the bookstore I wanted to go to was not open until 11, so I went to 3 other bookstores before then, and 2 of the bookstores did not have any copies of Onyx Storm, which is crazy to me, but I guess not really, because this is an English book and I live in Amsterdam, if I haven't said that in this video. But you would think that they would still have some copies because both of the bookstores do have English books, and I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they still should have had it because they had a few copies of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame in both stores, but they weren't displayed on special shelves or anything like that. So I thought that was weird. And I was starting to think I was crazy and that nobody else cares about this book. So then I walked over to the American Book Center, which is my favorite bookstore here. And right away, my energy shifted. And you know why? Because 10 minutes before the store was supposed to open, there were about 10 girls waiting in line outside to get in early, get their copies right away, and sprint home to read it. And that is the type of energy I am looking for. I love people who are so passionate about reading and their hobbies, and they don't care what people think. Because guess what? I was also one of those girls waiting in line. Also, this bookstore had a huge display window with dragons, with all of the books lined up, like making a big deal about it. I love when bookstores play into it, and also they know that that was gonna be one of their best sellers this week, so they're playing it smart. So they opened the door for us, they were greeting us, they were saying good morning, and right away I noticed that they didn't have the special edition I was looking for, the Barnes & Noble like US version. They said you could pre-order them there, and so I went to get Sam's book, which he's reading the Scythe series, and this is the second one. And then I went to the front desk to order my book, and they said, yeah, we can pre-order the special edition with the sprayed edges and the dragons and just ship it to your house, free shipping. I got a discount because I have a member card there, and they told me that they were supposed to be there today, so I'm not crazy, but the weather delayed the shipment. And I was like, oh, I don't care, it's fine. I already have it on my Kindle anyways. I just wanted to make sure I got an edition that matched my Fourth Wing edition. So now I'm gonna shut up, go make breakfast, and read. Sorry this was so long.
Cool. Yeah, some of those will be nice. Yeah.
The way I filmed this whole video, so that way I can include Onyx Storm in here. And then I haven't even updated you once about the book, so I am so sorry. It is now Thursday the 23rd. The book came out on Tuesday the 21st, so I've been reading it for a few days now. And honestly, I haven't been updating you at all because my initial thoughts were not good. I was not entertained. I did not want to keep reading it. I was doing everything to avoid reading this book. Like, I was actually cleaning up around the house for once, and I just kept getting on my phone because I wasn't invested. And so that's why I didn't want to update you guys, because I figured that would change. And I'm here to update you that it has changed. I'm now 60% into the book. I'm having a lazy day, but I owe it to myself to keep reading because I'm actually invested, and I don't want to become uninvested again, because the first half of this book, I was like, wow, I'm not gonna continue the series after this. But every chapter, we're learning something new, we're having a cliffhanger. I keep just like swiping my Kindle, since I'm reading it on my Kindle, onto the next chapter. I'm not even keeping track of how much time we have left. I'm just thoroughly enjoying it now, and I hope that keeps happening. 4 hours and 45 minutes left. I'll see what I can do because I really want to get this video up. I've been working on it for a while. I love Taran so much. He is so funny. The first quote I highlighted in this book was him being sarcastic, and I love Adarna. Of course, I love Zadie, Xaden, and Violet. There are a few cringy phrases that I'm tired of, like, "we're not gonna die today" is one of the phrases, which sounds bad that I'm rolling my eyes at that, but it is so overdone. Guys, stop saying that. I don't care. And also, I know I'm not crazy because I've seen a few videos on TikTok where people who love this series have been confused. There are a lot of new characters in this book that just came out of nowhere, and I know I'm not completely crazy because other people are confused. But just know it will get better if you're reading it right now. Let's get back to reading. I've been saying all of these characters' names wrong, but I don't know if I'm delusional because I've been reading for so long. I'm pretty sure I've been saying Adarna for the dragon's name, you know, Violet's little golden dragon, but it's Andarna. I looked at it on this page and I was like, why is there an N? It's Andarna. I swear I've never seen an N in that name before. I thought it was Adarna. So I'm completely losing my mind. Andarna. Okay. Also, I'm gonna say these names wrong too, just because that's who I am. Garrick and Riddick, or Riddock. They're so funny. I like people who know how to make a joke or how to use sarcasm. Back to reading, it's getting so good. 84% into the book. And what is happening now is unforgivable. Miss Rebecca Yarros. This is way worse than I ever could have imagined. If you know, you know, but I haven't finished the chapter yet. So let's see if it actually happens. What? That was dumb. I cannot. I just finished the book. I don't know. I gotta go on Reddit because I'm confused. And also kind of mad. I don't know. Initial thoughts, I did not love that book as much as the others. Update you guys later. Okay guys, I finished Onyx Storm this morning and it was a long time coming. I'm here to give you my final thoughts on the book, and just let you know, if you're here for an intelligent review where I dissect the book and analyze it like an intellectual, that's not this clip. So just know these are my sporadic thoughts I had while I was reading the book and the journey that came with it. And I did forget to say this. I'm looking at the notes I took on my phone. I did reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame right before I read Onyx Storm because I wanted to be prepared and I didn't want to miss anything, because it is fantasy and there is a lot of world building and I felt like it was easy to understand in the first book, but it got a little more complex in the second book and definitely in the third book. And I have to say, with me doing a reread before going into Onyx Storm, I did not expect to go into this book feeling confused, and yet I did. Things were adding up in the first half of the book and I wasn't fully invested for whatever reason. I feel like if I did a reread of both of those books, I should have been fine, but I wasn't. And I know some people are like, I don't know why people are saying they're confused. I completely understand it and I'm happy for you guys. But in the first two books, I mean, Iron Flame was a chunker of a book, but I even felt like it was easier to get through in that one than Onyx Storm. With this one, I was really having to think about what I was reading and going back and rereading things or flipping back the page. And I don't necessarily know if it was because it was confusing or if I just wasn't invested. So maybe it's a little bit less of the confusion and a little bit more of, girl, you gotta get my attention, let's go. I have to say, some of the theories that people had on TikTok, some of them kind of ate. Now, did any of them happen? Who's to say? I mean, no, they didn't. Not the ones that I saw. But some of these people had me thinking some really crazy things were going to happen. And I just don't think anything super crazy did happen. Well, I say this as I'm literally crying in one of the clips. I like the series. I love the characters. I just think this book fell flat for me. The storyline was not working for me. And yet I still enjoyed this book because of the characters. I mentioned how so many of the people in the friend group are so funny, and I tell you what, the banter was bantering. Not even like flirty banter between Xaden and Violet. I mean, there was plenty of that, but the friends just joking with each other, I don't know, it just felt like the found family aspect vibe, and how they are all in this together. I love that. I truly love these characters so much. I just wish I had enjoyed the story more in Onyx Storm. Also, I have to make the disclaimer, I did read this really fast. I read it over 4 days. I think that may be hindering my review. I feel like I was reading just to find out the answers. I know Rebecca Yarros always has the best cliffhangers, and I just wanted to get to the end and see what was going to happen. I know Destiny said, well, talks about doing this all the time, how whenever she reads an anticipated release for the first time, it's typically a low rating, and then she'll go back and reread it and she'll be like, what the heck, this was the best book of my life. And I think I need to go back and do that for this book. I want to do it as an audiobook because I think it will be so fun to hear the friends bantering and whatnot. So just keep that in mind. I read this book really fast, and I don't think I appreciated it for what it was. And then the last thing is the ending. I'm just mad that we didn't get answers completely. It ended in a cliffhanger like her other books, but there are pieces missing. If you read it, you know why. Like, pieces are literally missing, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that because she said her next book isn't coming out until 2027. So I have to wait 2 years? 2 years to figure out what the heck is going on. And it just felt like one of those ambiguous thriller endings that you hate and you just have to think about. And I'll be thinking about for the next 2 years. I love a cliffhanger. This cliffhanger didn't hit for me. It did not hit. I don't know. I just felt like I was on edge the whole book because I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. If you know, you know. And it didn't. So like, what was the main plot of this book then? I just feel like we accomplished nothing. Obviously that's not true. A lot happened in this book, but it feels like in a way we are right back where we started, and the ending feels almost exactly the same to one of the books in the series. I won't say which book because that will give it away, but it was the same ending twice. And now it's time for me to shut up. With all that being said, still love these characters, still really enjoying this series. I do want to continue the series. I'm just mad that I didn't get any answers. I don't know, it is definitely a lower rating. I rated Fourth Wing 5 stars. I rated Iron Flame 4. This one's gotta be like 3 stars. I think if I reread it again, it would definitely be 3 or 3.5 stars. Definitely my least favorite in the series, but that's okay. That's gonna happen. You're gonna have a favorite book in a series you love, and you're gonna have a book that's not your favorite, and that would be Onyx Storm. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if everybody loved Onyx Storm and I am the problem. I'm just speaking my truth. What is this piece of hair doing? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're still here, you probably aren't, but if you are and you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and please subscribe down below. I'm making it my mission to get to 1,000 subscribers in the beginning of 2025. I love posting YouTube videos. I love reading. I love yapping about the books I'm reading, and I'm really hoping to grow this community. I have all of my other social media linked down below, and I really hope you guys will stick around for the next video. Bye. Oh, I'm sorry I wore this sweatshirt for basically every single clip in this video. I washed it, I swear.